Were you able to hear that?
Oh yeah, I can hear that. But also,
Let's
I don't think
go.
that worked.
You don't think it worked?
No, I think we just
Oh,
played it for us.
no, it didn't broadcast. It didn't broadcast to them. Oh,
No,
wait, can you
because I'm
play
a
it
ding
again?
dong. I
Can you play
could,
it
but what
again?
for? It's not that fun.
It's so fun. Do it again.
Okay, I'll see if I can make it so that we can hear you singing through it.
Hey. Yeah. Yeah. Brooklyn. It's nobody.
21.
It's on
Random
YouTube.
numbers.
A mom and
These
a
are
son.
numbers.
Talking
Nobody
for fun.
cares. Nobody
Bars.
asked me.
Brooklyn again. New York City.
Can anybody hear
Welcome.
us?
Excuse me. Welcome, one and all, to the show. It's Nobody Asked with Maria.
Hello.
That's my mom. And me, Colin Wasserline. Today, we'll be talking about such fruitful and beautiful topics as parasocial relationships, Johnyates in particular, and also Gusjohnson, and also my mom.
Woo!
It's Nobody Asked. Should we still do a theme song, or was that the theme song?
Stop.
Oh! Nobody else. Yeah, nobody else. Oh.
That was gorgeous. I loved every minute of it. Yes.
Feeling a little like a pastor with this tie on.
It is pretty weird to see you with the tie on. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of
like
weird. I mean, I don't like it.
You remember high school when I would wear ties and untucked shirts to school like a friggin' baller? Ugh, if only I had that swagger now.
But now you work from home, so who cares?
Now I work from home, so I wear a shirt and a tie when I have one big meeting. Okay, so are you going to introduce the topic?
Sure. Today we're going to talk about.
Just kidding. I'm just joking. That was in jest. Today's episode is sponsored by the green M&M.
Ooh.
I'm so sleek. I'm so sexy. Look at this
M&M.
leg, this arm,
Ooh.
this
Tucker
round,
Carlson, eat your heart
circular body. Oop, just kidding. Changed my shoes. I've changed your entire image of me, and now you hate me.
Oh.
Green M&M.
Wait, they changed the green M&M shoes?
And that was why Tucker Carlson was all mad about the desexing of the green M&M. Oh God, this is.
I have this theory about Tucker Carlson, and it's that his writers hate him and are trying to turn him into a clown, like just to really make it apparent that he is in fact a clown. He's just a circus performer, and so they keep writing his soliloquies, his monologues, and try to make them as ridiculous as possible, but see him deliver it straight, right? And like they're just secretly laughing to themselves while going, yeah, you really delivered.
That's good. Don't turn that on. Can you close that window? Sorry, Ellie's trying to help me with lighting.
Oh, you do have a glare right behind your head, but what are you going to do?
That's God.
The God glare. Okay.
The God glare.
So, should we get into this? Should we? Oh, there's Ellie back there.
Yep. Hey, Frank Miliato. I hope all is well also. You gotta take care of the fans, Mom. That's the number one.
We do.
But let's get into it.
Okay. So, are we really getting into it, or are you about to mess with me? I just need to know.
I'm not going to mess with you.
Okay. So, some people know me from the Johnyates 90 Day Fiancé coverage. I do that with him, and it's been really interesting being part of that community. I've been a part of it before. I've been a part of it before he was even on YouTube, and you could kind of see how sometimes the fandom got weird, and there was a real blur between, I guess, fan, fanatic, friend. The lines got really, really blurry sometimes, and it caused really a lot of trouble and chaos. And so what I'm talking about is the parasocial relationship, which is a relationship that the audience has with a creator, right? And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times the creator isn't even aware of the relationship, or they think it's one thing, right? And you think it's something else. And I think
Yep.
particularly, I mean, it's been around forever. You know, it used to be, maybe there would be a little bit more of a wall, right? A little bit more of a gate between the audience and, you know, the celebrity, if you will, or the creator, the actor, whatever it was. There was a wall, right? Your image of them was controlled by some sort of media specialist back in the day. So you were getting all your media from a magazine or from a little bit of a news show, something like that, right? And it was a real controlled.
Sorry, I'm really trying to work out this new filming location, and it's working.
Okay, so yeah, so you know, it was a real controlled way of engaging with somebody. It wasn't as intimate as what we have now, and it's very intimate now. You can drop a DM for, you know, any celebrity you want if they've got social media, and
Yep.
they might answer, right? If they're big enough, they've got somebody else answering for them probably. But if they're small, you know, and these days everybody can be a content creator, so most people are going to start off small and then they'll get bigger and bigger. When you're small, you're answering your own messages, and you're really connecting with people, and you think that you're doing it. If you're a creator, a lot of times it's just a fan relationship. It's just a, you know, I'm going to keep this little bit of a wall up, but times you don't. You know, sometimes it gets to be a little bit more. Really, it's almost the way it's designed right now. Social media, we call it engagement, right? What does that even mean? Engagement is to connect with the audience. That's half of your objective. Oh, you're not connecting enough with the audience. You need to do it, or else, you know, you're going to lose your fan base. You're not going to be relevant. You have to
Mm-hmm.
constantly be putting out content and creating a connection with the audience. And it's freaking, it's cuckoo sometimes what happens because of
Mm-hmm.
that. Can I keep going, or do you
Well,
have something to add?
no, it's so this is kind of the Zoom problem is that there's a gap. So I mean, speaking from just like marketing 101, what they have you, the first thing that they tell you to do when you're managing the social media of a brand account is, when you get those DMs and those comments, it's in order to foster that relationship, you need to respond to them. And that's all small creators. The biggest piece of advice, sorry, the floating pillow problem. The biggest piece of advice really is those early fan relationships is to cultivate them as best as you can. So, for example, if somebody named Frank Emiliato like saw your stream, you should really call them out and make them feel special, because then they might tell other people. So,
Keep going.
so
She's trying to black that light out.
but uh, um, but yep, that was all I had to add there. Is
So you're
that
told to do that. Like, you're told to really foster those relationships, and you need to. And when you see somebody like Johnyates, and there is an intimacy that he creates with his audience, and he always has. He's always created an intimacy. He's
Mhm.
always talked about. He hasn't just kept it about 90 Day Fiance. We connect with Johnyates, right? We connect with, you know, his husband and his interactions. We connect with, you know, the loss and trauma that he's had in his life, you know, with his relationship with his mother and other family
Mhm.
members. We connect with all of that stuff and trials and tribulations. And, you know, people feel like, oh man, I know this guy. I know this guy and I love him. Or the opposite, I know this guy and I hate him, right? That's a whole other kind of
Yep.
parasocial relationship. The hate-based ones are just as real. um,
Just as
I,
real.
j- just
The
as real. I don't know which one's more dangerous. They're both dangerous in their own special way.
Well, they also, what's kind of interesting is they serve to alienate the person that's in them as well. And we should just say, like, forthright, that basically anyone at this point that engages on the internet in any real way and in any kind of like micro community is going to have some, on the spectrum of parasocial relationships, is going to have something akin to a parasocial relationship online. So now there's a healthy amount of it, right? Just
Yep.
general fandom, I don't think really gets to any kind of place of concern. But something that that might be worth bringing up is when my mom first started watching Johnyates, I was like, this chick is crazy. This chick has
Me?
lost it. Because yeah, I was like, she discovered the internet and she fell into a rabbit hole because she learned how to like interact in real time with creators, and we shouldn't give this much power to the Gen X's, clearly. And because it was all at once, and it was like, oh, I'm watching 90 Day Fiance. I found this guy named John Yates, and then you were like, oh, maybe we can help him reach a bigger audience. Oh, like I was like designing a logo for him at one point. We were trying to figure out ways to help him out. But I mean, you were really into the John Yates community, even as it was
Yeah.
immediately apparent how much toxicity existed on the periphery of that community.
For sure. For sure. And it was always there. It was always there because it feels real to people. I mean, it felt real to me, and yet I was still putting up the boundary of I'm a fan, not a friend. I'm a fan, not a friend. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I knew where the lines were for myself, but for other people, they don't either recognize the lines, they've never thought about the lines, or they don't have any lines. Like, to
Yep.
me, that boundary is important. It's interesting. With an audience the size that he has. Like when the show first opens, right? When he first starts, he said, he does his, he says hi to everybody. He says hi to everybody. Sometimes that people are going through things, and you give them a special shout out because they're in the middle of dialysis treatment or whatever, and we're there keeping them company through that, right? We're there
Yep.
in their headphones, on their phone, in a very close and intimate way with them. And now we've acknowledged them, right? So now we've given it even a little extra back to them, a little acknowledgement that we see you.
Yep.
And of course it's special and it's kind of beautiful, but at the same time, people have to recognize that it is what it is, if you will. It's not, I'm not now your best friend. I'm not the person that you can trauma dump to, that you can tell me all your life story. I don't know what to do with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know you that way. And I've said that to John before too. When we first started communicating, and he called me once, and I said, I don't know you that way. Because for him it's the same. He struggles as well in a unique way. And for him, maybe he doesn't recognize where the boundary should be either. Sometimes he's like, I don't know you, and you're coming for me, and I have done nothing to you. I don't know you. I don't understand why you're attacking me right now. And other times, those friendships felt real. He did see you. He has seen you as an audience member. He has seen you throwing love his way, and suddenly he sees you turned in another direction, and it hurts him in a certain way. Like, he recognizes and see, because he has said your name, every day as you've come to watch, and now you're not there, and you're on a hate stream, which are fascinating. The idea of hate streams are fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting seeing that relationship as well, that he's got a parasocial relationship that is a little bit unexpected with his audience as well.
Well, and one thing that I think that is clear when you look at a lot of these relationships and communities is that, I mean, first of all, not all internet creators have a dedicated anti-that creator faction. In fact, a lot of creators, the people that don't like them, never think about them again. However, in terms of creating that strong parasocial bond with your audience, having an enemy is like, I mean, it's in the playbook for dictators. It's also in the playbook for social media influencers, is that this enemy makes you feel like you're on a side with the creator and that you can go to bat for the creator. Now, I've never been a part of a hate community. I don't think. Is there anyone that I've been a part of a hate community for? Because there's plenty of creators I don't like. But have I made it my work to shit on them? Maybe Onision, But who's this Elizabeth Brewer chick? Dude, you're worse. Elizabeth Brewer, you're worse than that. What about person whose name I forgot? SIMI? You're worse. Okay, I'm joking. So,
how do I get it to show? There we go.
Mom, that's a great question. What is a hate stream?
It is a good question. So a lot of times, like we're talking about these relationships that people have with a content creator, and what happens is you might hate that content creator, and now you create your own content around hating somebody. It's a very strange thing. It's like your only content is about what this person that you do not like is doing, how to interpret or misinterpret what they're doing in a negative way, and to really only focus on that stuff. Anytime there's something positive going on, it's a lie or it's got some nefarious purpose. That's what a hate stream is about. It's like a parasitic content creator. You are literally a parasite on another content creator, and all you're doing is putting out content that is anti them. It's very interesting and weird.
That's super weird. So, I mean, maybe this is an interesting line of thought. Is in a little bit we're going to talk about what parasocial relationships are replacing in the lives of those that are participating in them. Right now, I think it's a little bit easier to make that jump with a friendly parasocial relationship because we're all looking for friendships and it's replacing that need to some extent. And I think that's why we see a lot more of it in the like COVID pandemic era. But what is a hate parasocial relationship giving you in your life? Is this person, correct, nobody asked, but is this person, do they represent someone that you hate in your real life? And you've misplaced that feeling that you have for somebody else. And you're like, oh, well, I can do something about this guy because it's online, or what? Where is that coming from for people that are in these hate parasocial relationships?
It is interesting because it does tap a little bit into the idea of cancel culture and you feeling like you're on a crusade against this person because they've done something that in your mind has wronged you, right? But they don't half the time know what they did that wronged you until you tell them, you said this mean thing about this person and I don't think that's okay, right? And you're like, okay. Sometimes you're like, okay, I'll reflect on that. And other times you're like, this is what we do here, bro. You know what I mean?
Yep.
for Johnyates, sometimes it's as simple as liking a cast member that other people don't like, being friends with a cast member who has been painted as a villain, who has done things that are not great, right? If you think that they're an abusive person, and Johnyates is going to that person's house and having dinner, and that it means, well, then you're supporting an abusive person. When it's like you have to be able to separate what you see on TV with what you see in real life, and not even just TV, what you see in your content. Again, you're getting an edited form of somebody's life, or just a snapshot. Even if it's not edited, it's a snapshot. It's a moment in time. That's not the whole content of a human being, this little bit that you see about somebody. And the idea that somebody is 100% right all of the time or good all of the time is also ridiculous. And I think we tap into that with Gusjohnson, right? We had this idea of who Gusjohnson. So for people that don't know who Gusjohnson is, he's a YouTube creator and a comedian, and he does a lot of skits that are great. They're great and they're wholesome. Most of them are wholesome. He's a really enjoyable dude.
And he had a podcast for a while where, it was one of those general talk podcasts, but the saying that they would always, the refrain that they would always go back to is boys support boys. And one of the main elements of that is that anyone can be a boy. Girls are boys. It's more boys like friends, right? So everyone, support your friends. And that was the refrain that they went back to. And the content that they focused on would largely stem from that kind of foundational precept of support and friendliness and stuff. So I think a lot of people had an image of him in their mind that was very one note. Now, anyone that has been, I don't know, following any artists or comedians for any length of time should realize that the them that they are on stage, there's more layers to them. There's people that they are elsewhere that they are not on stage, because it's not fun to be a weepy mess on stage. Usually, there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it. Neil Brennan's 3 Mics is a great example of a way to do it. But in general, there's somebody different. This is why, I mean, like, everyone's mind was blown when Robin Williams committed suicide, but it's because he's not just the character that he portrays. Anyway, the reality of YouTube and online skit content creation, especially a lot of his content is very family friendly. I mean, we watched it with family all the time.
We did.
One of the things that comes from that is that this is the first creator that I think a lot of people have seen, the first comedian that a lot of people have kind of joined their, tied themselves to. And so when a controversy came out about him and his ex-girlfriend, whose name was Sabrina, when a controversy came out about those two that didn't match exactly with their image of Gus, the response was tenfold what seemed reasonable to outside viewers or people that had a more objective view of him. Because in this scenario, it was a girlfriend that he had had for many years, and there was an accidental pregnancy with this girlfriend, and they had a standing agreement that if there was an accidental pregnancy, she would get an abortion. And in the time leading up to that, you need to get approved for an abortion is one of the main things. Is that there's a time at which you can get an abortion. They need to be able to see that you're actually pregnant on an ultrasound, I believe, was the rule at this place. So they couldn't see that she was pregnant on the ultrasound. And so I think it was like 3 weeks after the pregnancy test or something. So they said, okay, well, we're going to wait a week or two and check the ultrasound again, then you can get the abortion. And when she went back after seeing the ultrasound, she began the conversation of, what if we kept this kid? And Gus's reaction was very much, well, that's not what we agreed upon, and so I would break up with you. And that's been labeled as coercive, and it's been labeled as all numbers of things. But certainly, just the subject matter of abortion and of very tough situations like that does not match with the sunshiny, family-friendly comedian that people had on their screens, because the person that was on their screens was not a real human to them. And so there was this reaction when people saw the inner workings of a relationship falling apart and the inner workings of something as high stakes as this and as emotionally charged as this, where there's a reaction where people were like, who is this guy? And that spawned its own realm of haters, because people felt like they had been lied to about who Gusjohnson is. Now, to be fully forthright, I think it's nonsense that people feel lied to when a person is more than the person that they've projected out there. I think a lot of the people that are mad about this scenario have never been in a high stakes scenario in a relationship, and they just expect everyone to deal with everything perfectly, I guess is how I would put it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
This is what I actually forget what started us talking about Gusjohnson. What was where we were going to use Gusjohnson to express a certain point?
Well, we were talking about how you can have an image of somebody that they are wholesome and they are one way, and then suddenly you view them through a different lens because of because of situation, and suddenly now you hate them because you thought you knew them, and now everything they say is a lie, right? If that's a lie, if this image that I had of him was a lie, then everything they say is a lie. Nothing could be true, right?
Yep. And they deserve it, right? Because they lied to you. They didn't lie.
They lied to
in
you.
General. They lied to you because you had believed something, and it didn't align with that. And so it creates this kind of illogical emotional response and there's tie-ins all over the place. I actually just realized that I have 2 examples of people in which I have participated in hate communities about it, and now I'm a little
All
bit
right.
ashamed. A little, just because of what we're talking about, and obviously we're talking about hate communities. It's impossible that I am your son, Maria. Um,
No, she's talking about the lies. Impossible.
Oh, okay. I should just stop interpreting
Oh,
comments.
shoot,
Is what
William.
we've learned about our streams. But it is.
Oh, shoot, I just blocked.
Uh,
How did I do that? I'm sorry, Mother Teresa, I just blocked
hey,
you accidentally. How do I undo that? That was too easy. I don't
guys,
understand how I
2
did
episodes ago, my mom got mad at me for just being a little bit snarky with one of our commenters, and now somebody who's being nice. Okay, but my mom blocked Mother Teresa. Okay, cancel.
that. It's an accident.
Cancel
Wow. I
Looney
fat
Tunes
thumbed it. It was my thumb.
Oh my gosh.
I can't
Mother
even undo
Teresa,
it. I should be able to undo that.
bless. Goodness gracious. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, that
I'm a
was
ding
very
dong.
disappointing. I've
I
actually
know,
participated
especially
in
because she was being funny.
communities. She was being funny. I participated in 2. The first one, which I'm less ashamed of, is LeBron James, where I felt like the Houston Rockets general manager had taken a generally positive moral stance of being against genocide by China. And then LeBron came out and said something to the effect of, the Houston Rockets GM doesn't know how much money he's taking away from the other members of the NBA by saying stuff like this. Like, he doesn't understand the stakes of saying stuff like this, and basically came down on an anti-genocide stance because it wasn't useful for his wallet. Whereas LeBron is he's very pro social justice. So I was like, "You're a lie, you're a lie, LeBron, you're a liar." And then I had a very reasonable reaction to that, and I did not participate in any hate communities. And then also Gordonhayward, because he
You
left
did
my team.
hate Gordonhayward.
He's a clown. He's a clown.
Okay, but here's my question.
My hate for him was so known.
Yeah.
That when he broke his leg on the first game where he was on the Celtics, I had 4 people text me and be like, "Congratulations." And that is when I had to take a deep, hard look at myself and go, I'm still right, but that's not good.
Yeah, that's the thing is, here's my question. Did you contact Gordonhayward directly to tell him he sucked?
No, not directly. I might have added him in something, like in a tweet. That seems likely.
Huh. Okay. So you're just you're
Because,
trying to connect with him directly to let him know that you think he's a piece of shit. You know,
yeah, fuck him.
which is interesting
I wanted to
and
go
weird.
to games to boo him.
But what does he owe you? He owes you nothing, right?
He owes the organization something. He owes the
What organization? The Utah Jazz?
The Utah Jazz organization, whom I am a fan of.
This is a great example, though. I like this example because that's exactly what it's like.
It's an example because it's close to. Now you can interview me on my logic. This is actually perfect.
It's perfect. So, like, if I'm in the Johnyates community, right? People want to send you a message saying you suck. You said this terrible thing. You are a bad person, right? And then, he might not have hurt this person directly, but he hurt some. As far as you're concerned, he hurt this other community or these other people or this other organization by whatever stance he took. And in your case, Gordonhayward left the Utah Jazz to go to the Celtics, right? And that's unacceptable. and to you, that's
you are treading on thin ice, Mom. Okay, you're treading on thin fucking ice. Okay,
and so you feel entitled to tell him that he sucks. And then let's say there's a Reddit community that says, let's create a Gordonhayward sucks community. And we can all get together and talk about what a garbage person he is. And then even better. We didn't
do that. It was just the Utah Jazz subreddit.
Okay, so you're in the Utah Jazz subreddit. and talking about how Gordon Hayward sucks. And even better if you can create some sort of memes, right, that make him look terrible, right, that make fun of his broken leg or whatever it is. Let's make him look like a fool in some way. If we can somehow bring his penis into it, even better. But weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. That's if you can do it. People like to see that for some reason. If we can dig through his past, if we can dig through his trash, if we can find even more reasons to call him garbage, let's do it. Right? That's what that community, I'm gonna guess that's what they're doing, because that's what they do in every hate community. We find new and interesting ways to hate somebody. And we will make up new ones, right? We will make a picture, we'll put together a photo that's not real, but maybe just believable enough. In fact, it doesn't even have to be believable. It's just that your audience, because they also hate this person, wants to believe it. So it doesn't even matter if it looks good or not. It can look like trash. It's just like confirmation bias. Let's dive in deeper. What is that
If
face? Am I lying?
If I might jump in on this podcast that I co-host, I think that you might be talking about a different situation, because almost none of that happened. I never brought in his penis, and then I stopped listening after you said that. But,
I saw somebody else's penis got brought into something one day, and I was like, how did we get here? But it was almost the opposite. It was the opposite. Somebody who people hate, I think, had created a false account and started saying, oh, you know what really happened? This person was sexting this person because he has such a big dick. And you're like, there's no way that this is a true scenario, but everybody's going to jump on it because why not?
Yep. Here was the logic. If we could jump back to reality just for a second.
This is reality. Parasocial reality. Is that a word?
I'm just trying to be a good case study for this, because we've stumbled upon the fact that, first of all, I'm almost certain that you have been a member of a hate community for someone, Mom. I think that you have.
I try really hard not to.
Let's look at me as the case study, because I feel no remorse for hating millionaire basketball players. Maybe I feel if I had DM'd them, I think that might go a little bit far. But I'll tell you what the logic is. That the feeling is that there's a certain amount of, oh, thank God, seriously, thank God, Mother
I'm so
Teresa.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I fat thumbed that.
My mom is going to hell for 100 years just for that. But the logic that happened.
He looks older than he is, and I look younger.
Hey, stop saying that. Okay? It's going to stop being a compliment pretty soon.
What do you mean?
I'm 24. As soon as it starts meaning I'm over 30, which to some people is what it means, it's going to hurt my feelings. It's going to hurt my feelings. Maria, did you have them when you were 2?
No, I was 22.
I have no
I'm 46.
Because I'm all about responsibly scheduling your children. But, doesn't run in the family. So, what I was thinking...
no, don't say that!
Oh, God. All right. I got to fucking shave.
He had a hairy chest at like 15, so I understand why he tracks older.
I still have it. All right. I'm gonna end this conversation now, lest I... Hey,
you're very handsome.
See, this is why I created that parasocial relationship with Frank Emiliato at the beginning, okay? Because I knew she would be my advocate later, okay? I'm going to take off this fucking tie. Boom. Now I'm 24. All right. Here's what I'm saying, is that the logic that happened in my brain when I was so fucking mad about Gordon Hayward was that the facts were all out there, but I felt like a narrative hadn't been expressed. But it was true in my heart, right? And I felt like there was a voice that hadn't been voiced, when certainly it had, but I just hadn't seen it. Certainly other people were feeling the same thing that I was. But because it wasn't in front of me, I wanted somebody to speak for this anger. Mom, stop pinning these comments. She doesn't need to be sorry, okay? Nobody asked.
I just gave you a hard
With
time.
respect to my age, nobody asked. I'm just trying to get through a narrative so we can talk about our topic. And here we are.
Okay,
All right.
sorry.
I felt like a narrative hadn't been set, even though certainly it had been. Because no one that was famous had said it, I was like, somebody needs to say this. And so that was what caused me to put it out there, was that I felt like the outstanding narratives hadn't covered like a real bit of reality, which is, and I'll only go facts, right? I was a little bit more opinion back then. But Gordon Hayward would have no career if the Jazz hadn't drafted him. The Jazz invested a lot of resources into him, and then he said a big fat F you to the Utah Jazz when he took less money to go to Boston, a shitty city full of shitty people. So the combination of all of those facts, and there's no debating it, all of them are complete facts, made me feel like someone had to say it. And just to be true, just to be real, I'm correct. So
Okay.
I'm in shock. God.
So basically, you're saying that you created a narrative because you didn't know what the real narrative was, or you weren't listening to the real narrative, and so then that started a whole snowball effect of hate in your heart and with other people potentially who you influenced because they felt the same way, or they felt some similar way and they just jumped onto that. I don't know.
I mean, it's not
Maybe.
like I was just one of many voices. It's not like I started a community or anything.
Right. Yeah.
There was one meme, which was that a lot of people felt like the Utah Jazz had created the name Gordon Hayward, and so if he wasn't going to appreciate that, then we would never say his name. And so there was essentially a competition to see who could get you to understand the name Gordon Hayward with the fewest real words, right? Or with it sounding the least like the actual word. So, people would be like, "Oh, I can't wait for March 14th when the Boston Celtics and Goggle Grump Hasteen will be coming in," and that was the meme.
I mean, that's funny. It's interesting as well when you think about that. The idea that the idea that he needed to respect these fans that made him in Utah. What obligation does he have to the fans?
Stop being nice to my mom, okay? I will block you, Mother Teresa, okay?
No, you won't.
I said I was advocating for you earlier, but Mother Teresa, my mom's ego is big enough, okay?
Hey!
So,
to be fair, you add to that ego. You always have. You've always been handsome and exceptionally intelligent.
Oh, sounds like it.
And you're full of many, many talents. I'll also say that. And I take credit for all of them, just like the fan base does for Gordon Hayward's success, right? Mm-hmm. As a fan of Colin, I also take credit for all of his successes.
All I'm saying is, where's the success after he left, okay? I've completely let this go, but where is Gordon Hayward's success now? Is it on the Hornets? Because I don't think it is.
Is he on the Hornets now? Oh my goodness.
He's on the Hornets.
Interesting.
Also, I mean, LeBron was advocating for genocide. He was a hypocrite. Fuck him. Ugh.
No, but I just think it's interesting when you look at that relationship and the idea that you can't say his name because there's no respect to the fans because he left, right? He's got his own reasons for leaving. They could be just as simple as, I keep working so hard here in Utah, but we can never make it to a finals, and I feel like I have a better chance somewhere else. It could be, my wife misses the East Coast. You have no idea what it is. It could be
his wife is from Utah.
Maybe she wants to get out of Utah.
Well, I would not identify with that feeling.
As somebody who no longer lives in Utah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's just interesting. I think we hear that a lot about fans and what you owe the fans. And what's the answer to that question? what do creators owe the fans? Where is the line? What level of communication is safe and appropriate? And maybe it just doesn't matter. Some people are always going to take things too far. But, it can feel unsafe. So, again, let's go back to the Johnyates community. We see him getting, not full swatted, right? But the police welfare checks are called on him all of the time. One time the FBI showed up there because they said he had, a house full of guns, right? He was hoarding weapons. He has none, but let's create that narrative. Let's get the FBI to show up because, he's not talking enough when they just do a welfare check. We're not getting that interaction that we desire to get from him, which is to see him get upset and react. So let's up the game, let's up the game, let's up the game. Because if you are a parasite creator, meaning you only create hate content based around what this other person who you are a parasite on does, then you need content. You need to see him losing his shit. How can we get him to lose his shit? They would do all kinds of bizarre, listen, it's kind of benign, but it's also incredibly stupid and rude to send tampons to a grown man, right? You're like, why am I receiving tampons? You got tampons once and you didn't appreciate it when you were in a theater. And they felt like you were PMSing. It was like a gag gift.
Yeah.
But
it's just with that, the thing that bugs me is that I feel like I get ahead of the Colin, you're angry all the time joke, and I say it, but then when people add on to it, it's like, I already said it. Make a new joke. And then I get mad. And they're like, see, we were right. Now it's like, there was no contesting you were right.
We already know.
Come up with a new joke. And then they start calling me old and joining my podcast under the name Mother Teresa Thompson. Ugh.
Don't give her a hard time. Okay, so just to be clear, this particular podcast, we are not nice to the people that watch. We're going to be a little bit mean to you here and there. Hi, Sarah.
Sarah knows. Let's go, Sarah. Hey,
so
Team Sarah.
If you're easily offended by us poking back, this ain't for you. But if you're fine with being poked back every now and again, come join in. Be a troublemaker. But we're going to give it back to you because that's the relationship that we want to have with the audience. It's very hard to keep it positive all the time and to, blow smoke up the fans' asses constantly. I do. It's okay. It's an approach. And admittedly, it's what we should be doing. We have only a few people watching, right? Who should we be fostering a loving relationship? Well, only if that's what you want. Honestly, I think it's much easier to be hated, but I don't know.
I work at a job 9 to 5 where I raise money for, a very positive cause. But one of the realities of that is that when you're on these calls with people, you can't be honest because that's not how interacting in a professional environment is. Now, if I have to lie in my podcast with my mom, I'm going to jump off something. So I'm not going to lie.
She's giving you so much shit. She's my new favorite person. Oh my God.
Hey. Just because I am being honest does not mean that you guys need to find a reason to be honest here. Okay. I don't know what you look like. I'm going to your YouTube channel. Crafting
she looks like
with
a
Mother
fluffy
Teresa
cloud,
Thompson.
or maybe a cat. Oh wait, it's a crafting material.
Yeah, that cloud's fat. Boom. Get fucked.
Why are you fat shaming the cloud? Hello.
Because
now that's your hate Reddit. You are a fat shamer of clouds. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so easy for this shit to go sideways. It's so easy in a parasocial relationship for somebody to take things however they want to take it and turn it into something else.
My girlfriend's on the stream, and I haven't seen her defend me once.
What are we going to crochet here? Are we going to crochet your chest hair? What are we crocheting? What are we crocheting? I don't understand.
Oh my God. I would come over there and give you a piece of my mind, but my walker's too far away.
Oh, because you're so old.
Boom.
Your Benjamin Buttons. We do this every Wednesday.
We actually, but for you, we do it every Thursday. So you check in next Thursday, okay?
Oh my gosh. See, your girlfriend likes your beard. I like your beard too.
That's not my girlfriend.
I mean, Elizabeth. He's a hairy boy. I mean, it's literally, I think it starts just below his eyeballs. I mean, not his beard. He just gets some random ones.
No,
and then you can see it.
I shave this every day. This is too much, and then it just keeps going. I wish that this was on my YouTube channel so that I could block this fucking person. I can't take this anymore.
Come on. You can too take it. You've got...
I am not... Hey, okay, you can call me old. You can call me hairy, but you will not call me a good sport, okay? That's the last straw. Okay? You just said you don't like lying.
Oh my
gosh, Ellie. Ellie doesn't know how to interact on the internet, so she's being nice, which I've never seen anyone be nice in the comments before. So this is a little weird.
No, we got to teach Ellie how to interact here on the old internet, but she's probably the kind of person that isn't out there seeking out these parasocial relationships.
Make fun of my dog.
Because listen, I mean, a lot of people, your dog is very cute. It's very cute. You guys have like a very good circle of real life friends out in the world, right? And a dog apparently who who has no boundaries, it looks like. But a lot of people, interacting with people online has replaced your normal day-to-day interactions with other human beings. It just has, and I think it's disingenuous to say that that's just not the way it's going to stay. It's going to stay that way. See? She's smart. You see what she did? She gave herself a friendly name, so people just to be nice automatically, but really, she's full of snark.
I'm looking up Mother Teresa controversy as we speak.
Oh, there is some. Don't look it up. See, now let's move on. Okay, back to the Johnyates community, right? Johnyates community. So people move past just hating John, right, to then hating people affiliated with John. So they're going to hate his moderators. They are going to hate his friends. They're going to hate people that watch his show, like Mother Teresa Thompson. There are people that will take it to another level with these weird parasocial relationships and say, I now have to go after you too. You, a private citizen who's just here trying to enjoy content and interact in this social media world, are now on team evil, we've decided, and you are now going to be a victim as well. And I think Mother Teresa she gets into some of that stuff. People come after her. Yep, they're trying to cancel her. What are we canceling her from? Can she not continue to craft? No more crafting. No more fluffy clouds for you. No more crocheting of chest hair. I don't know. It's very strange. And it gets crazy out of hand, and people just do not look at their own behavior. They just mob mentality. Let's join together as an army that is pro this or anti this, and let's lose it. Let's give ourselves a terrible title. For in the Johnyates community, it's hags, right? They started calling people that supported John hags, and so when he created his YouTube channel, all of his subscribers were then called hags. He just was like, well, let's try to turn that into a positive. Let's now be hags. And it's like, that's all you can do is try to turn a negative into a positive as much as possible. But also, it's difficult. It's difficult. There's no winning sometimes once somebody has become obsessed with you in one of these relationships that you have wronged them in an imaginary way. And now their whole life revolves around this relationship. I'm going to take it real old school for a second. Real old school. Before Hag Life, before the internet. We're going to go back to, let's see. 1989. We're going to go to
I know I just admitted to being in various parasocial relationships, but being on the outside of a parasocial community and looking in is so weird. So weird to see the
See?
Johnyates stuff. And I'm like, why?
It's weird.
Why?
It's strange. But I told you why. It's because he accidentally did the things that you're encouraged to do, right? To make these connections with people, to create an intimate relationship where you are sharing a little bit more of yourself than you would if you were just an actor on TV, right? You're sharing it's making it closer and more personal connection with people. And then they feel like they know you entirely. They feel like they know everything about you. And if you've wronged them in some way, even though you might not know them, it feels real. So we're going to go back to 1989. There was this dude named Robert Bardo. Okay, he went through stalking various models and actresses in his young life, but at this point, he was obsessed with this woman named Rebecca Schaefer, who was on My Sister Sam. That's the TV show she was on, and that show got canceled relatively quick. It's only like 2 seasons or something, and he had sent her numerous letters because back then there was no jumping into somebody's DMs to connect with them. You had to go old school and stick it in the mail. And he sent her a bunch of letters over the 3 years that he stalked her, and she answered one. And now if you have already think that you know everything about this person based on seeing this wholesome character that she played on TV, you think you know everything about them, and now she's responded to you, it's almost confirming that you have a connection with this person. Oh, she wrote me back. She loves me too. She just said so, right, in this letter. And so he has tried to show up on the set here and there to try to get in contact with her, but had failed. But then there was this point where he watched a movie that she was in, and it was called Scenes from the Class Struggle in Beverly Hills, which I've never seen. It sounds like a stupid name for a movie. But anyway, she's in a bedroom scene there. And this bedroom scene threw Robert Bardo over the top. He's like, she needs to be punished for becoming another Hollywood whore, right? He has created this scenario that she is this wholesome person, that she has connected with him, that she is all of these things, and now he sees her in a bedroom scene in a movie, and she's a Hollywood whore and must be punished. And it's the same. Now, he kills her. He shoots her. That's what happened in that case. But we're seeing that in all kinds of relationships with these hate streams, is that they have been wronged in some way. The image that they've created of you has been changed in some way, and now you must be punished. Now you must be punished. And there's no level they will not go to punish you. If they have to punish the people around you so that you feel the punishment, they'll do it. Whatever they got to do. In this case, he shot her, right in the chest, came to the door, knocked on her front door. She had sent him away earlier because he was being a creepo. She came back, boom, in the chest, and she's like, why? There's not a good fucking answer because he's created the scenario in his head, and it's cuckoo town. And that's what I'm saying is some of these people, listen, if you get into a hate stream community where you are committed to hate streaming, but you're doing it with your eyes open, you're like, I looked at the hashtags, hashtag trends, let me watch everything about this dude, and then I'm going to make my own content about it. I'm going to make my own parasitic content that is just about this person, and because it's going to get views. That's what I'm going to do. If you go into that eyes wide open and you really don't care, you aren't invested, your investment is only in, I'm going to get views, hopefully monetize, hopefully money. I view that a little bit differently because it's calculated in a real specific way. But if you are committed to literally causing pain to this person who you have latched onto, what the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously, why do you have this relationship with this person? Why? When I don't like things, you know what? I don't like olives. Do you know what I don't do? I don't start a hate page for olives because I hate them so much. I avoid things I don't like. I avoid olives.
It's so hard to see when you're not right. When it's just
I'm not right.
No. It's a royal idea. Why would you jump to that? No. It's hard to when you've convinced yourself of something to even consider objective facts. We're very, very good at grounding ourselves in something that we have already convinced ourselves to believe. And we're very, very good at ignoring facts that are to the contrary, and at really paying attention to ones that reaffirm our already existing ideas. And as much as we'd like to think that that is only in politics and the things of that nature, it extends to crazy. It fully extends to crazy. I mean,
fully extends.
You would think that the Pizzagate people would have seen someone go to the pizza parlor and attempt to find the cabal of pedophiles that were in the pizza place and not succeed. And they would go, well, that's a pretty good fact for contesting this whole Pizzagate conspiracy.
Nope.
But Pizzagate is as alive and well, if not more alive and well, as it was before someone went and committed a crime to check and then said he was wrong. So he figured it out, but it was like staring him straight in the face. And then what do they say? He's a false flag actor. He's, it's just.
Oh, yeah. He's paid by somebody else it's all a lie. He went to the wrong pizza place. You can go on and on and on. And that's what I ask people. I try not to engage with it. It's hard because I've been with John through a lot of this stuff. So I know what really happened. So sometimes when they create stories, you're like, what are you even talking about? Like this is not even close to what happened. And it's like, I want to defend him, but then it's like, is my energy being wasted on defending this person that doesn't want their mind changed? And I think that's important because some people feel like being right will change people, and it won't.
It's super difficult. Well, and the thing is just that it sucks to resign to that there is no changing people, but there really is a very limited period of flux where you are able to be swayed by general facts. And then when you are galvanized into one opinion, only something cataclysmic occurring can ever sway you to the other side, unless you are taking extraordinary pains to prevent yourself from being that way. And preventing yourself from being that way is uncomfortable. And there's just, in a lot of realms, it's just not worth it to do it. It's like you're going to have no impact on anything based on your opinion. So let me just log, okay, here's my opinion. What do people that I like generally agree on? Oh, it's murder? Okay, well, it's murder then, that's just where, and then you don't think about it for any longer. Just going back to the Gusjohnson thing, you do see a bunch of different ways of dealing with that sort of like the absolute massive amalgam of parasocial relationship that was thrown onto this group of people, because it was Sabrina, who has her own content creation, of course, Gus, who's the main content creator, and then Eddie, who was the guy that he had a podcast with, and who was also, his content creation started because of affiliation with Gusjohnson, but now he is famous in his own right. He has stuff go viral all the time, etc. And when all of the information about Sabrina came out, Gus ended the podcast and said, I don't see myself working with Gus in the future. Eddie did that and said he wouldn't work with Gus in the future. And I think logically, a lot of people took that as the information that came out in Sabrina's video was what made him feel that way. Now, Eddie said outright, I'm not going to talk anymore on it. This is the decision I've made. I know it's going to make people mad, but I don't feel like it's my job to convince people either way. I'm just making my own decision, which is a pretty mature way to operate about it. And it took months and a very sad video by Gusjohnson for a bunch of the pro Gusjohnson people became galvanized around, well, Eddie Burback is a bad friend. If this was enough to make him not friends with Gus anymore. And Eddie had to come out and be like, guys, you weren't in this friendship. And I never told you why I ended it. And so it's really weird to have literally thousands and thousands of people saying I'm a bad friend for ending this friendship when they have no idea
Yes.
how we interacted before this. But I had my own problems in this friendship. And I'm like, all right, you know?
Yeah, no, I think that's a perfect example. Going back to the Johnyates community, that is a perfect example because, yeah, you are not the friend. So, we had a schism, where Heidi left, and the way that it happened was weird, and it was, it made people uncomfortable, and like they had to choose sides, and like they were also part of this relationship. Like, I have to choose one of you. If Heidi, who is somebody whose opinion I respect and enjoy, left, then there must be something bad going on here. There must be a reason for it. It must be something so terrible. And it's like, you guys weren't there when the thing happened that happened necessarily. I mean, something maybe for some of it, but not for all of it. Not for what happened with me and her, certainly. But it's like you weren't in that relationship. I'm not asking you to pick. I'm not asking you to say, well, she has this much credibility, I'm going to just go with her. Or, oh, but I really like Maria, so I'm going to go with her. No, go enjoy everybody's content. That's the way I feel about it. You don't have to choose. You don't have to choose
It's so
because
hard.
that's not the relationship that we have. That's not the relationship we have.
In real life, it's very difficult to love two people that hate each other. And
Yep.
online, it's only slightly less difficult, right? Especially if you're
Mm-hmm.
really, I mean, as much as I understand that parasocial relationships are unhealthy, I care about Gusjohnson being happy. It's weird, right? But I care
Yeah.
about it. And so when I feel like people have made him feel bad, I'm mad. And then but I love Eddie Burback's content. I think he's probably, I mean, all of the information points to he's being very logical. There's almost certainly a reason that I would
Yeah.
find reasonable that he has cut off that friendship. And he hasn't taken pains to like shit on Gus, right? So
No. Because it could be
so
anything. It could be they
all
just want to make different types of content. It could be
they
they can't get
they
their
lived
schedules to
together.
line up.
It's not that, but that you said it was because of the friendship, but uh,
Okay.
but they
Okay.
did live together, right? I
Sure.
know quite a few friends who loved each other and then moved in together, and now are having not as fun. So
Yeah.
like
He doesn't like cleaning
like
the
my
other
friend
dude's
Alan.
pee off the toilet seat.
Yep. So but even with all of that, even with all that information, I can like know that information in my heart of hearts. I can know it, and then I
Yeah.
can watch an Eddie Burback video, and I'm just like, this is the guy that is making Gus feel bad, and it makes it hard for me to
Yeah.
watch it, even though I think it's great.
No. Yeah. No, I agree with you. Sometimes you start looking for these undertones too. You're like, oh, the way that he said that, I feel like that tells me something. That means something
Yep,
more. That's got, that's a dig at Gus or whatever. Like we start reading
yep.
all of this stuff
Everyone's a
into these
detective.
scenarios.
Yep, everyone's a
Everyone's a
detective
detective.
as soon as it comes to things that they can't know. You know, like, oh well, then I can figure it out. It's amazing jury's work, by the way. Like with everything
Do
that we're
they?
saying right now, right? That 92% of the time,
Oh, okay.
92% of the time they're not hung. I'm not saying 92% of the time they get the right verdict, but
Right.
92%
But
of
there's
the time they
consensus.
reach a consensus, and it's got to be unanimous, right? One person can throw it off. How, with everything that we know about psychology and argument and opinion, right? How is this possible? I don't know, but it's interesting. It it's interesting that it does work ever.
Yeah. It is hard when you feel like you know somebody or like you have an affection for a creator and
Yep.
and two creators and suddenly they're not getting along for reasons unknown. It hurts you in some way. You're like, wait, you're both good people. Why can't you stay being good people and keep working together?
Yep.
And you have to, it's so hard because we want and we want. It's just like when people get, celebrities get divorced and you wanted them to
Mm-hmm.
keep working harder and you're like, we have no way of knowing what they go through.
And it keeps happening over and over again too. It there's got to be an art to enjoying content after one of these events, right? Because I just off the top of my head, I can think of
Hmm.
3 creators where one of these events occurred, a change happened, and and then even though content was created by both afterwards, it's just not the same. Brockhampton, my favorite band who recently broke up, before they broke up, they kicked out a member because of a sexual assault accusation and because of a confirmed instance of that member getting a friend of another member mugged, which seems like being that friend. It's not very nice to get mugged.
It's very unusual.
Anyway, I mean, I loved this band, and they came out with 3 albums in 1 year. I loved them. I went to multiple concerts. It was just, I mean, it hit exactly what I wanted from music. And then this guy got kicked out for what I think are good reasons. But forever, that hung over the content that was created afterwards. And the content was about the breakup, and it always felt like there was a gap in the group then. And now they've broken up entirely. So, it's all. Yeah, and now I'm being asked to enjoy them individually on their solo careers. I'm like, I don't know how the One Direction fans did it with Harry Styles and Zayn and all them. How did they feel so chill about it? Because I mean,
do they all have an equal following at this point? No, they don't. So, I mean, probably still opinions.
They all have hits.
Yeah. I think it's really hard to break up and let everybody keep all of the fans, right? Because people are just always going to feel some kind of way and read into a situation and feel hurt, even though it didn't happen to them, because you enjoyed this thing together and now it's separate. And yeah, it is hard because I don't understand why we always have to pick sides. There are times when I get it, and there's other times where I'm like, yeah, just watch what you want to watch, but don't, even if you pick a side, just don't join an army against the other side. I think that would be my advice. Why were you watching them to begin with? Look at what your motivations were. What was it that they gave you? What were you there for to begin with? And if that's not there anymore, then you just have to be okay with it. If it hurts you to watch this person because it's changed how you look at them, then just don't watch them. But don't commit your time and energy to hate. It's yucky and it's unnecessary. Like, it doesn't match the situation. Let it match the situation. What happened? Did somebody literally, hurt somebody's child? Like, literally, has somebody hurt somebody? Well, then, man, I'm not going to be okay with you. And I'm going to maybe shit on you here and there, But if it's just, I don't like that you two don't get along anymore, that's nothing. It's not your business, It's not something to start a war over. It's nothing. But it's everything in this world, right? It's everything.
Yep.
How can you leave the Utah Jazz, Gordonhayward?
Hey, fuck Gordonhayward. But okay, I don't like where this has gone. Where I admitted that I had this feeling, and now
called.
Fuck them.
I was just bringing it back around. It was a callback.
Oh, we're circling back. Hey, whoa, bada bing. But you are selling a product, right? And so some people are going to think that the product is tainted because you were selling a feeling and a comfort. And
a vibe.
Now they're no longer getting it, and they feel attacked by the fact that they're no longer getting it. And even if they're not right, they are no longer getting it, and so it's difficult. It's difficult.
That's okay.
But with that in mind, fuck Gordonhayward. Okay, see, it's completely different when it's about teams, right? Okay, the whole point of sports is rivalries, right? And so it's defection. It's simulated war because we don't have wars now. And the reason that we like the war is so that we can take those feelings that we're supposed to have about the war and put them on the sport. So then when people have those emotional reactions because you're no longer on that team, that's because that's the product. So fuck you, Gordonhayward, okay? You are in a sport.
You know what? That's
and you
an
left
interesting.
my team.
That's an interesting take. I actually like that because it is simulated war. There are winners and losers, and he basically defected. That's what he did. He's a defector in your mind. That's how you view him.
And there's all these pseudo wars that happen in sports, right? And the classic one, I mean, do the Utah Jazz have like a real rivalry? I mean, maybe with the Bulls historically, but barely, right? Maybe with Denver geographically, but barely. Maybe with the Spurs if you're your husband and my father, but not really, right? Maybe with the Lakers because everyone hates the Lakers. But here's the real narrative that exists on all Utah Jazz subreddits is small market versus big market, right? The small markets get treated this way. And that's why the Pacers, when the Pacers come to town, it's like the most friendly game ever. And the subreddits, they like have fun together. And we call the Pacers Jazz East, and they call us Pacers West, right? Because we're small markets. The real narrative is small market versus large market because there's a feeling of mistreatment, which is, again, the whole concept of how wars start.
Absolutely.
And so you're galvanized around, well, I like the small market, so I'm better than other people that liked it. What, you like the Lakers? You're a freaking bandwagon fan. Are you? And and so he left for Boston with the most championships because he's a clown. Okay, he's a clown, and it should be expected that we react this way. Meanwhile, Russell Wilson just left the Seahawks for the Broncos. Do I have animosity at Russell Wilson? No, because we failed him. And so I just don't feel the same rage, right? But we helped Gordon.
It's interesting. No, I like it. I like this connection. It's kind of fun.
Let's talk about sports and simulated war, and then just like what the expectations of next episode. We're going to talk about something completely different, but I'm going to say that next episode we're talking about sports and simulated war and the expectations of different kinds of content. And if you go on reality TV, expect to be portrayed as a dick because that's the product.
That is a good idea for a show. I like it, but we're going to do it on NFTs instead.
We're doing NFTs? Fuck.
No,
all right, here's the breakdown of NFTs. They're nonsense that you can buy. Okay.
That's all you need to know.
We're not going to get paid if we don't do the last ad read, and then we can do the sign off. I'm sure that there's literally no one here anymore.
It says 8, which is impressive.
8. I mean, we're freaking ripping today, dude. We're ripping. Dude, 8 beers? 8. Oh, my God, dude. Oh, fuck. Today's episode was sponsored by an avalanche.
Ooh.
It's sponsored by an avalanche, right? So an avalanche. It's so here's what it is, right? You try, it's like there's so gravity makes us want to go down, right? And we're on this big old fucking slate, right? But we're all connected, like all the little pieces of snow are connected to each other. They're all like sticking to each other and shit, right? And then something happens, like a vibration or like a snowboarder cutting through, and they break the connection. And that was what was holding us up on the hill, right? Now we're falling down. Oh my God, we're falling down. All the snow going down real quick. Oh, goodness gracious. Snowboarder dead. An avalanche.
Usually I know what you're doing, but I'm like, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, my mom left. Mom! Not again. Not my mom leaving again. Well, it's time for the part of the episode where Colin is managing everything with the audience members that know about something that he doesn't participate in at all. Johnyates, he's a guy. He's got kind of a face looking thing. He says a lot of stuff he says a lot of stuff about reality TV, I believe. Oh, she's back.
I kicked myself out. I don't know what happened. I laughed myself right out of the podcast.
Hey, don't worry. I handled it really well.
Good.
Our viewers were very satisfied. I think that most of them feel like you should not be on the podcast anymore. So.
Oh, all right. I'll just let you run this joint.
Yep. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we log off, mother of mine?
I just want people to kind of just, consider your motivations before you start shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I starting this shit? Was I wronged? If I wasn't wrong, then maybe I should keep my fucking nose out of it. You know what I mean? Like, just stand back. Like, if you weren't the person who was offended, you can say, yo, like, I understand why you feel how you feel, but I'm going to shut up and let you fight your own battles because we don't need to start a whole fucking war over just, like something that doesn't fucking need to be a war. You know what I mean? We could just disagree and part ways. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it light. That's what I'm saying. Consider your motivations. Were you the one that was wronged? Are these people actually your friends? Or are they just entering your, your field of vision through your telephone? And, you're having a good time with them, but, it's not that serious. You guys are just, you're not really dating. You know what I'm saying? It's not a serious relationship.
No, it's no big
like,
deal.
You're not entering somebody's womb land. That's all I'm saying. Isn't that the womb land here?
Holy shit. Oh my gosh, we should talk about that. That's so funny. You brought up the womb lands, dude.
But I'm just saying, we aren't there. That's what I'm saying. So you don't have to pretend like somebody penetrated you and maybe it did or didn't get you pregnant because you weren't there. You don't fucking know what happened. You weren't there.
Oh.
So, just drop back. Drop back. You don't fucking know.
Were you there? That's pretty weird.
You can just digest it as entertainment and not real life. Just digest it as entertainment.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That'd be my advice.
I make a lot of a fuss. I make a lot of a fuss about things that people say over and over again and become that just everyone says these things and they don't mean them. A recent version of this is when somebody says, and often I'll agree with them, but they'll say, you need to go touch some grass, right? Now, I think it's a hilarious thing to say, but people are saying it a lot now. And it basically, they're using it to shit on anyone that cares about anything. But here's a great example of somewhere where it means exactly what it means. If you are that invested in a fight between people that you don't know, I get it, and it's a human thing, and there's nothing wrong with you. But for real, before you comment that thing, go real talk, not a metaphor, touch some grass. Go find some grass, go touch it, go sniff it, and then go, yeah, who gives a shit about her womb land?
Exactly.
It's hers.
Exactly. It's a real life resetter. Touching some grass. Reset. Love it. All right, I think we're done, eh?
Oh, we're done.
We did it. Another one in the can.
All right. Well, everybody come back next week for another happy, fun, crazy episode of Nobody Asked. In the next episode, if we get up to, 20 viewers, we'll review my reveal. We'll reveal my real age.
Your chest hair. Do you guys want to see his chest? No, maybe you don't want to see that. That's too expensive.
I made the joke already. You just have to remind it. Come back next week at this address and on Wednesday and at 5 Eastern p.m. in the afternoon. And watch this again. It's always good. It's always funny. I'm always mad. My mom's always nice. She's always got beads behind her. And I always don't know how to end the show. Mom, play that song again.
Bye. Boom, 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 boom. Bye. Boom, boom, boom. Nobody asked.